Freedom Party achieved a historic win in Austria's national parliamentary elections over the weekend, becoming the first far-right party to do so since World War II. This was largely due to voter concerns over immigration, inflation, and the war in Ukraine. Despite finishing with 29.2% of the vote, forming a government is still uncertain, as rivals have refused to join in a coalition with the eurosceptic party. The governing Austrian People's Party finished second, while the Social Democrats placed third, and the ruling coalition between the Conservatives and the Greens lost its majority. The Freedom Party's leader, Herbert Knickel, aims to be the chancellor, but his path to power is unclear without coalition support. The party's platform focuses on restrictive immigration policies, opposing sanctions on Russia, and criticizing EU leadership. And now, here to break down this most recent development in a European country, which again favors the far right, is professor at the Department of Political Science at the University of Vienna, Heinz Gärtner. Hello, sir, and thank you very much for joining us on World News Tonight.
Good evening.
So what are some of the possible scenarios for putting together a ruling coalition? Conservatives and Freedom Party had a coalition which crashed. So how much of their policies could survive, and what are the scenarios that we could be looking at?
Of course, there are several possibilities, and it's difficult to exclude the Freedom Party. One possibility is that the People's Party, which was in government so far, will form a coalition with the Freedom Party, but they do not want to do it with the head of the Freedom Party, Herbert Kickl. So it will be difficult since Herbert Kickl claims the chancellery. Another possibility to exclude the Freedom Party would be a coalition between the People's Party, the Social Democratic Party, which already have a very slight majority, but it's only one mandate. They might take in another party, that means the small party Neos or the Greens, but I think the Neos are preferred. But it depends, of course, on the president. He is the one who can confirm the chancellor and the minister, and he also can reject one suggested chancellor, and he already alluded that he would not accept Herbert Kickl.
So this looks like it will take some time to play out. How long do you think that it's going to be before a coalition gets put together?
It might be several months. Probably by the end of the year, we might have a government. But it will be very difficult also when it comes to issues like migration, inflation, climate change, also war in Ukraine, even so that doesn't have a high priority among Austrian voters.
Now, if the Freedom Party is brought into a coalition, could this have any impact on the balance of power in the European Union?
No, I don't think that much, because the right-wing wave is already in the upswing. So, and the Freedom Party is rather part of the trend and not cause of the trend. So it will not change that much, and even so it is not really clear which group of the right-wing parties the Freedom Party might join. So as far as I can guess now, it will rather join the Meloni streak of the right-wing parties, and not the one of the right-wing ADF. Even so, I think there is some split within the Freedom Party, and I do not exclude, if the Freedom Party will be in government, they might split as they did when there was in previous governments.
Now, the Patriots of Europe alliance, brought together by Viktor Orban, of course, of Hungary, Babiš of Czech Republic, and Kickl and it has an element of peace with Russia in it. And these leaders are all for lifting sanctions against Russia and withdrawing support for Ukraine. Are we seeing Russian sympathizers gain more and more traction across Europe?
I can speak about the Freedom Party, and I guess once they're in government, they grudgingly will swallow the continuation of aid to Ukraine. But of course, they will exploit the argument, as you say, that sanctions do not work. And that, of course, is correct, because sanctions did not end the war. Of course, the Freedom Party will exploit this argument for propaganda.
Well, is Austria in particular losing out a lot due to these sanctions that are not, say, the best enforced, really truly enforced?
But Austria has a high percentage of humanitarian aid for Ukraine. So, of course, Austria is a neutral state and is not allowed to deliver directly weapons to Ukraine, but it doesn't, but it does it through the European Union, because it pays for the European Union, and the European Union delivers weapons. But Austria is one of the countries which the highest percentage for humanitarian aid.
Right, but is Austria losing out to the sanctions that have been imposed against Russia?
It's hard to say. Austria still imports 70–80% of gas from Russia. It's hard to cancel them. So I don't think that the economy, the Austrian economy, is really suffering because of the sanctions that much. But it is hard to tell, because there would be several branches. Banks have some difficulties now because they have to stop their business with Russia, and it's difficult for them to withdraw from Russia immediately because they have their business there.
Mm-hmm. Now, Austria has long had a close Moscow ties, actually for centuries, whether they be business, political, or both. Why do you think this exactly is, and is there a potential that this could ever change?
Of course, it's changing, and Austria has a new security strategy. It is changed it from the old one from 2013, just because of the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. In the 2013 security strategy, that was mentioned as a strategic partner. Now it's mentioned as a threat. So this changed, but of course we cannot forget, of course, that Russia was among the victory powers after the Second World War, which liberated Austria as well. Of course, then Austria got its neutrality, and the Soviet troops would leave. But this historical relationship goes back a century. It has nothing to do with the war in Ukraine.
The Freedom Party in Austria, Germany's AfD and BSW even, France's National Rally, they're all sympathetic to the Kremlin. Is this Russian influence at its best? How can these players influence the debate on assistance to Ukraine?
There is, of course, is a debate on in disguise, because they call the relations with Moscow as peace negotiations, which may be not that serious. And of course, everybody wants peace now, and these right-wing parties want to be on the front of the new peace debate on the negotiations, and they would say, we said it all along. They might exploit the situation of war, and we might have some negotiations in the future, and if the right-wing parties claim that will be their success, but it's not true, of course.
Mm-hmm. Heinz Gärtner, a political science professor at the University of Vienna, thank you very much for being my guest tonight and talking about these very important topics. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
And that concludes this edition of World News Tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time. Good night.